today, we are talking about gut microbiomes and getting the gut right. सब कुछ इसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. तो मैंने एक बीच में not long back, yeah, about a year and a half back, I don't know how many people attended that time. The old people they will recall, I had spoken about that your DNA can be modified, right? एक वीडियो बनाया था और दिखाया था कि how do you modify your DNA, how can you live a longer life also, and how can you modify your DNA, right? There is no DNA as such which you carry genetically from your parents as such, right? आपका जो DNA है, it is from the genes of the microorganisms which reside in your gut, majorly in your gut. 70%, no, 78% अब बोलते हैं लोग कि that's what the gut microbiome is. आपका जितना gut microbiome, जितने microbiomes है, जिससे आप बने हो, right? वो 78% of them are in your gut, and that is what the DNA comes from. The DNA of that microorganisms is what is your DNA which you change it. So वो DNA हर वक्त change होते, microorganisms change होते रहते हैं because there are trillions of them, right? तो हर उस time आपका DNA भी change कर सकते हो आप. You can change the DNA from there. If you change the DNA, if you change the multiple microorganisms staying in your gut, right? So it is थोड़ा deep है, but this इतना ही समझ लीजिए कि this is what it is. कि the top layer which you can understand is you can modify your DNA if you modify your gut microbiomes environment. ठीक है? So there is nothing genetic. कुछ genetic नहीं होता है. Everything is epigenetic. Epigenetic is staying in the environment. What does the environment make you? Right? Because you are outperforming the cells of your body. आपके cells जितने हैं, cells कुछ 10 trillion cells है. आपके microorganisms जो है वो 100 trillions है. So you are made of microorganisms, not but because of your cells which you are there. Okay, so let me ask a small question, right? I heard all these things today. कल और आज थोड़ा मैं सुन रहा था तो सब ये चीजें आई है, तो I just want to convey that to you कि मेरा थोड़ा knowledge बढ़े और my wisdom also increases likewise. I'll talk about the knowledge and the wisdom which is there. So how old are you now? Right? I guess people will not like to tell their age, but how old are you? If you can write in the chat box, right? But okay, till the time you write it, let me just go ahead and say you are always 6 months old, right? You're always 6 months old only because every 6 months, right? Every 6 months you are actually becoming a new person. New cells are growing into you and new microorganisms modify होते रहते हैं, right? So it is, you're always 6 months old. That's the reason if you want to be, why do you see chronologically आपको बोला जाता है कि you are 48, 49, 67 and 43 years, 57 years of age, right? But you're actually not. You're always 6 months old. But क्या होता रहता है कि I always keep telling about the cell memory, right? The cell memory is always being told by the consciousness that you are 57 years old. You are 57 years old, and it keeps on running from there. जैसे नया cell form होता है, हम उसको अपना consciousness download करते रहते हैं, because that is what the neurosystem is around, which is transmitting everywhere. It keeps on transmitting that jargon which is there, saying that you are such an old, आपको ये disease है, आपको ये है, आपको वो है, आपको वो है. So that is all the download which is happening onto the cells, right? So as a reason that cell starts behaving in that manner, feels that it is such old and such a disease and such a thing which is there, and I should behave like this. My behavior is like this. मैं ऐसा हूँ, मैं वैसा हूँ. ये मेरी पत्नी है, ये मेरे पति है. All those things come from the consciousness which is there from it. So all that consciousness which is there is gathered, right? It's a gathered consciousness from the environment which you are living into, right? So mind, everything is from your mind, your consciousness. आपने जो gather किया है या download हुआ है जब आप पैदा हुए थे, right? पैदा होते ही आपका DNA download नहीं होता है, right? It doesn't get into the genetic software. You get the consciousness downloaded onto your zygote. See, you are a zygote. When you are born, you are a zygote, right? Zygote कितना होता है? right? How much does a zygote weigh? How much did you weigh when you were born? You know how much did you weigh? Right? I heard it lately, right? It is 0.0000000000001 gram. That is what your weight was when you were born. And you were downloaded with all those, and there's a protein. Zygote is a protein which you're born from, right? So that's a protein which is there, which gets downloaded all the information from consciousness, because there's an antenna on top of it. आपके स्किन के ऊपर भी एंटेना रहते हैं, हर वक्त आपके ऊपर एंटेनास रहते हैं, because it is always communicating to the outer world. We don't, we not been told about all these things, right? So when the cell is born, right, when the womb में जाके आपके sperm और womb जब आपका egg में जाके वो born होता है, there's an antenna which gets downloaded with all the consciousness of the universe which is there. Then it takes the form. Then it takes the form in the womb which is there. And that is the reason you always see there are changes in the child when it is getting born, when it is growing. Have you seen it? Do we see that kind of changes in us when we are grown up? नहीं दिखते, right? तब क्यों दिखते हैं? जब 3 महीने, 6 महीने, 9 महीने, 1-1.5 साल, तब बोलते हैं कि 2.5-3 साल तक जो है, you cannot make out how will he look like he will look like a father or he will look like his mother, because it keeps on changing. क्या change होते रहता है? The downloading information, the child is always getting downloaded. That's the reason I keep telling you, your first 7 years of your life, right? आपका child जो है वो download करते रहता है कि how should I look like, the mother का smile कैसा है, father कैसा होता है, and then he starts getting modified. उसके जो cells है, it starts getting that information download and it starts behaving in that manner, right? And that is what it captures. That is what I tell you about the first 7 years of your life. That is what happens in your first 7 years of your life, right? So your DNA, science papers, white papers, thesis, and all those things are just money-making things, right? People are making money out of it. Science actually क्या है मालूम है? Biology में science नहीं है. Do you know that? I heard it lately also. Biology में science नहीं है. Science is a method of understanding this universe. There is no truth that science is a truth. No. Science is an evolving a method. आज उन्होंने कुछ derive किया, तो कल they can always come back and say, no, this is not what it is. There was an example given that science is a fishnet hypothesis. Hypothesis माने किसी छोटे टेस्ट को लेके उसको बिलीव करना कि ये this is what the truth is. That is called hypothesis, right? कि fishnet hypothesis करके था. तो यूएस में ये hypothesis तैयार किया गया था कि sea fish, how do you say this is a sea fish and this is a river fish? So the scientist came across and said, okay, let's do that. Let's take a net. He goes and brings a big net and puts it into the sea. He does it for 2-3 months, right? Do the same net, and he catches, and then he comes and measures, and वो lab में सब measure करता है इतना जो वहाँ पे 2 inch, right? All the sea fishes were like whatever they caught, they were more than 2 inches. Right, so this scientist writes a paper, it gets published, वो सब nominate होता है यहाँ वहाँ, और वो science बन जाता है कि all sea fishes are 2 inches long. 2 inch से ज़्यादा है वो, that is a sea fish. Right? And then there was another scientist in Netherlands. After that, when he read that paper, he said, how can it be so absurd? मेरे यहाँ तो यार कुछ नहीं मिलता है, थोड़ी होता है. So then he goes with a net which has a smaller hole than the one which is the American one. He puts it in the sea and he catches less than 2 inches also. So then he makes a thesis and says that no, there is nothing like 2 inch से ज़्यादा होने से ही कि वो आपका sea fish होता है, उससे कम भी मिलता है. So he writes a paper, a white paper, it gets published. So that is science, and it keeps on evolving as long as they discover a lot of things, right? So I keep saying, I keep hearing also from my guru, there is nothing, no invention happens in this universe. It's already there. Everything is already there. You only discover. Right? So there is no invention. There are only discoveries happening which are there. Right? So that's another one. And science changed in about 1925 में change हुआ. तो उसके बाद धीरे-धीरे पता चला कि science क्या है. today science is connected to our hum jo is in this continent, what we have been trying to say, and what we have been trying to tell in Sanskrit and our Vedas and Puranas and all those things. It's all about consciousness. I've spoken this about in my blueprint also, Psoriasis Freedom Blueprint. It is all about consciousness. Even the quantum physics, quantum mechanics, everything stands on consciousness now. And this world, right? This world, they say there is no definite of this world. There is no tomorrow. We predict, there is no prediction. We always predict that there is no tomorrow. We predicted tomorrow, right? Because all about your consciousness, what you predict is going to happen. So ये सब हम जो सुनते आए हैं कि ये सब दुनिया जो है मोह माया है. It is actually like that. Now the modern science also says the same thing. This is all which is there, which is not there also. This is quantum physics now, talking about it, right? So everything is coming back slowly. We didn't emphasize much on what we were talking about. हमने उसको ठोक के नहीं बताया. जैसे ये अंग्रेज लोग अभी जो कर रहे हैं, West, I won't say अंग्रेज, the West of the people which are doing it, right? Science is not the truth. It is not the ultimate truth. So do not go behind what you read and what you have conceived till now. कि psoriasis ऐसे ही है, psoriasis is non-curable. So leave that. Leave those all aside, right? What kills you or what gets the disease is what eats you. It is not what you eat becomes a disease. It is not that. What eats you, your thoughts, that is what kills you. Okay? It is not about what you eat that kills. It's a wrong hypothesis. गलत ये चीजें की थी. Because उस टाइम क्या किया था? Science को दिमाग अलग और body अलग कर दी थी. Right? But now it is a holistic thing. You cannot say कि दिमाग कुछ अलग है और body अलग है. It is all what you are. You are everything. You are a mind. The whole universe is a mind in itself. Just अलग subject है. But it is a mind. Your mind is everywhere around your body. आपका जो माइंड है वो बॉडी के इर्द गिर्द है. दैट इज व्हाट द माइंड इज. माइंड इज कॉन्शियसनेस. इट इज नॉट द ब्रेन. ब्रेन अलग, माइंड अलग है. राइट? सो knowledge and wisdom, when you gather knowledge, only when you go and teach someone and learn something from that teaching, that becomes wisdom. जो मैं आज बोलते आया हूँ, जितना आपने मुझसे सुना है, जो आपने पढ़ा है, ब्लूप्रिंट देखा है, all those things which you have been saying, only if you teach someone, और किसी को जाके बताए कि ये हकीकत है, तभी वो नॉलेज विजडम में कन्वर्ट होगा. तभी आपके विजडम में रहेगा वो. नहीं तो वो नॉलेज ही रहेगा. नॉलेज डजंट मेक यू वाइजर, राइट? नॉलेज गिव्स, नाउअडेज नॉलेज जो एजुकेशन से आ रहा है, that is only giving you what? आपको अहंकार दे रहा है. It is just giving you a what do you call, अहंकार को क्या बोलते हैं इंग्लिश, whatever, अहंकार दे रहा है. It giving you a false fact that what you are, आपको बहुत बड़ा दिखा जा रहा है. Knowledge doesn't make you. Wisdom does, right? Your wisdom is actually which makes you. And the more wiser you are, the more wisdom you are, the more humble you become. Right? So that's the way it is. The world is, right? Health क्या है? So what is health? I spoke about the science थोड़ा. So health doesn't mean कि it should be devoid of your diseases, devoid of alma जो medical science में लिखा रहता है, right? उनको ही सिखाया जाता है, but there is nothing like that, right? Health means your enthusiasm. Tomorrow morning, if you can wake up and run to your work. मुझे काम करना है, किसी की मदद करनी है, किसी को मुझे काम दिलाना है, किसी को मुझे मदद करनी है. That is what health is. If you can do that, if you can pee, eat, shit, sneeze, drink, eat, if you can do all these things right, then you are healthy. You did not go with all the parameters which are there, B12, T12. This is not going to tell you. Because the more people who go to the doctor nowadays, they die earlier than the one who doesn't go. हकीकत है. This is the fact. This is the fact which came in the papers now, not newspaper. The white paper which is newspaper तो आएगा नहीं. Right? So The more intervention is there, the more is going to cause a destruction in your body. So don't go with all the jargons which are there कि आपका BP इतना होना चाहिए. Winston Churchill आपका पेट बड़ा होगा. Winston Churchill का पेट सबसे बड़ा था, मेजर किया गया था. He should drink like a fish, eat like pig, smoke like a chimney, and he stayed till 89 years of age. But doesn't mean that we should all do all those things. But it doesn't mean that that's the end to it. But unless you are right here, right without fear, your health will stay right if you are without fear, without guilt, and without your greed. Let me repeat. Health is without fear, without guilt, and without a greed is healthy. Right? It's difficult. मुझे भी difficult है. It's not easy as I say to tell you. I'm also not perfect. I'm not telling you I'm perfect to do it. But if you practice, if you have this knowledge, convert that into wisdom. How? Practice it and keep telling people also. You will become wiser day by day. Knowledge अपने में रख के कुछ नहीं होने वाला. Keep telling people what you have learned. That will make you wise. That will make you more conscious about what is going around also. And that will make you more healthier because that is compassion. Right? So what is it again? Fear, no guilt, and less needs. Or what is greed, which is आपके needs जो है जितने कम है उतने आप देने के लिए राजी हो जाओगे. Right? And of course, all about if you don't hate people, you will live longer. Because hate is one which gives you all the stress in this world. Whatever, people, yourself, disease, I hate this, I hate that, ये बंद करो बोलना. Now see how better you perform in your mind. Right? So that was a small thing which I'm going to tell today because ये काफी दिन से देख रहा था, सुन रहा था, मैं नोट डाउन कर रहा था. I was thinking how to make this thing a little simpler for you to understand. For me, मुझे भी थोड़ा समझने. This was not the exact things which were told. A little बहुत थोड़ा complicated था, but I just made it a bit simpler for myself to understand, and then I made it a little bit more simpler. Probably the same thing which I could understand, I just made you understand it. I hope I made that understanding, right? I hope I made it simplified also and a little bit tickling in your mind कि ये क्या बोल दिया आनंद, right? So a lot of people are still thinking कि everything is scientific. There is no scientific thing as such, right? Reading science doesn't make you scientific, or science is just a method to understand your universe. Okay? So health is, thank you, Satyarajanji. So I keep telling, do not go, I'm not saying do not test yourself. थोड़ा आपको ठीक नहीं लगे, but when I say that, don't just rush and get yourself tested for something which is ये हो गया, वो हो गया, right? Of course, you had a situation with Satyarajanji. I'm not saying that. I'm not pointing that thing, but ultimately, that is what the health is. If you can just ponder, वो तो मैं मेरे 3 साल पहले मेरे blueprint में बताया था. थोड़ा complex था शायद, थोड़ा या probably I did more simpler था, but that is reference to everything to psoriasis. Here I make it generally everything, for everything. It's not psoriasis itself. Psoriasis is what you are thinking which has been there. कुछ हो गया होगा, definitely which has got psoriasis जो आया है, it has come for some reason. But it doesn't mean that you cannot. Everything can be reversed. I told you about it. Everything can be reversed. Every 6 months you are a new person. तो 6 महीने लीजिए, अपने आप को बदल दीजिए. Right? Only if you can put the right way. That's the reason I keep telling people, keep telling yourself, keep seeing yourself without